Picture this. You have to make weight in 2 days, and you're still 8 pounds over. The only thing you get to eat for those 2 days are these 2 eggs. So what do? Do you eat them at once, or do you split them up? This was my reality sophomore year. If you have competed in combat sports, it's likely you've considered cutting weight to get an advantage over your opponents. By cutting weight, you hope that you'll be bigger when wrestling the smaller guys that you will be facing. Most high school wrestlers do it weekly. However, nowadays, there are rules in place to limit the amount of weight that a high schooler can lose per week. By teaching you guys about cutting weight, I hope to inform you guys on the negative effects that it has on an athlete, and hopefully you guys will get to understand why I'm so crabby every single winter. I never understood why such a small thing could make me resent a sport that I once loved so much. This is exactly what happened my sophomore year. Halfway through the season, you get pound allowances. At Christmas time, the biggest tournament of the year rolls around, and you get the 2-pound allowance. For example, if the weight class was 132, it now becomes 134. This causes a few issues, including wrestlers dropping the weight class just because it is a little bit easier. This is where I came in. My skinny body decided to cut from 132 on Monday to 115 that following Saturday. I woke up the morning of the tournament 2 pounds over still, and in 30 long hard minutes, I was within my goal by 0.3 pounds. I lost 2 pounds in 30 minutes. Just short. The USA Wrestling Federation has made articles on the best techniques that wrestlers should utilize when cutting weight. But the optimal weight depends for everybody. Not everybody has the same amount of muscle or fat. So what they say to do is cut out all sugary drinks. This includes coffees, juices, and sodas. The next thing they say to do is eat about 4 to 5 smaller meals throughout the day instead of a few bigger ones. But the most important one is not cutting out water. In fact, do the opposite. Increase your water intake as it helps with all kinds of things and makes it easier to manage your weight. These ideas may sound very good in theory. However, eating this much just isn't practical, as you can see on my slide. Oftentimes, wrestlers will just choose the easiest ways, and there are 2 main factors that come into play. Dehydration and caloric deficit are the big 2. Wrestlers will sit in hot tubs and saunas just so they can shed the water weight. But come practice time, wrestlers will be feeling lethargic and they'll have a low metabolism rate. On top of this, wrestlers will also come to practice dressed in many layers so they sweat even more. And after practice, they'll probably go to bed on an empty stomach since they aren't eating very much to limit their caloric intake. On this slide, you can see a pro MMA fighter who is laying in a bath filled with hot water and Epsom salt. The Epsom salt opens his pores and causes him to sweat profusely. This helps him shed maybe 2 to 3 pounds in a very short amount of time. These techniques are very dangerous, but sadly it's the route many competitive athletes decide to take. Cutting weight has both negative mental and physical side of things. We can start by talking about the mental. Cutting weight may lead to decreased short-term memory, concentration, and self-esteem, as well as increased confusion, rage, fatigue, depression, and isolation, all of which have the potential to inhibit success on the mat as well as in life. The constant attention to body size and weight may also have physiological effects on its own. Athletes are at a much higher risk in developing eating disorders such as anorexia, bulimia, and even binging once weight management is no longer necessary. On the other hand, there are the negative physical effects. Decreases in both aerobic and anaerobic performances are the main factors. Because of this, wrestlers won't be in the right state of mind come competition and practice, and they have been able to link this to an increased risk for injury. Not to mention, dehydration itself can have negative health effects on internal organs, such as kidney function and an increased risk of heart attacks. In conclusion, cutting weight in combat sports is a widespread problem in the community. Cutting weight makes wrestlers not enjoy the sport as much as they once probably did. It also hinders their performance and is dangerous to their health. USA Wrestling and combat sport coaches always propose the ideas of cutting weight that are just not very practical. In the end, caloric deficits are necessary, and dehydration is the easiest, most common route for wrestlers to shed the pounds, which is why I'm here to spread the idea. Maybe it's time we stop cutting the weight.